Okay, so I made a Google spreadsheet here going over the biggest winners and losers of 3.28. This is mainly just what caught my eye. It is not every single change. It is the main ones that I think that are impactful for builds that were already like pretty okay. Not like talking about bringing up a trash skill like up 2% or something. Like, yeah, it's a buff, but like who cares, right? So I just put things that I found that were like actually impactful. I might have missed one or two. Absolution, it got a 44% more AoE with Empower Lightning Blast and 40% more damage. Also gets a little bit more duration on the minions, which is kind of nice. And debuff duration. So I don't know the really like full state of Absolution right now. I think it's like a pretty mid skill, so this might bring it up to like the upper mid skill range. Then Animate Guardian, so this might be like one you're like, why is this even here? If you just said it's only like the important things. Well, Animate Guardian I feel like is actually kind of a sleeper build. It is end up an endgame build usually. I don't know how it performs early, but in the late game, it actually is kind of crazy. And now it gets double damage and a pretty significant AoE buff here. Basically, the builds I've seen, I mean, you basically just run through the entire map and the Animate Guardian explodes everything, and now he's going to explode it harder. Now, raised specters. I have this one in like orange because I don't really know too much about specters, but now they no longer gain a hidden elemental bonus when converting their Fizz damage elemental. But they also now sculpt their monster levels more past gem level 20. So I don't know much about specters. I think most specters are Fizz elemental, but I'm sure there is some that do not do that, so this would just be a straight buff to those that don't do it. Static Strike. Got 0.5 more meters radius, got a little bit extra seconds. And the beams do 30% less damage instead of 40. Static Strike is another like kind of mid skill, but this pushes it up a little bit more. Sweep. I don't know how good the Holy Sweep is, but it's got to be better than normal sweep because normal sweep is straight dookie. So should be better. Don't really know yet till like a build gets made and stuff, but we'll see. Penance brand, the normal penance brand gets 10% more damage at all gem levels. Gets a little bit extra effectiveness. The big node here is no longer has 30% less damage with ailments, so I think I saw some people talking about like Ignite or something. Yep. Get 5% more hit damage bonus with quality too. Then Penna's brand of Conduction. I've literally never seen this used, but it is kind of a massive buff. It gets 0.1 activation time instead of 0.15, and then it gets another 50% damage. I have no idea how this works, honestly. This could still be poo-poo fart. Stormburst, this is like a meh buff, but Stormburst is a pretty good skill actually. The main problem is that like it has a ramp up time and clearing feels really bad because when you start casting it doesn't actually just instantly pop. But now it places an orb immediately on casting rather than the first orb being cast into the channeling process. This will probably make it feel really good, especially for Totem Stormburst. Pretty nice buff there. Not like a crazy damage buff, but just a QL and smoothness buff on that. Herald of Purity and Dominating Blow, they get 32% more AoE. Pretty nice. Classes. Chieftain. So this is orange because it's like kind of a nerf, kind of a buff. On one hand, it's going to be a buff early. It'll be more smooth, doubling your chance to explode. Dealing only 250 life now instead of 500. So in a normal map, this doesn't really matter. But if you're doing like a juiced map, it is a nerf. Because if you have like a really, really tight pack, but they're all really juicy, you're probably going to explode one anyways, but now you're just exploding them for less damage. So yeah, I mean, overall, still good and, you know, kind of a minor change-ish. Guardian got some pretty juicy stuff, actually. The Sentinel of Radiance no longer has a duration, so it's permanent, which is really nice, because I would always forget to cast it. And then it gets 36% more move speed. Pretty good. and it still doesn't persist between areas. That's weird. So you're still gonna have to cast it every area. I don't know, okay. Then another 2-point ascendancy node, which is kind of interested. Gain 10% of his damage as extra lightning damage for each of your hallowed flames that have been removed by an ally hit recently, up to 80%. That's kind of insane. Could definitely get something going there. Maybe get like a random minion that just keeps random like hitting a bunch, and GG, bunch damage. Warding got a little bit of a buff. Avatar Wilds gets 20% more LE damage now from 80 to the 100. Saboteur got quite a few things. Got 30% from 35 less damage from triggered spells. Gets 10% increased cooldown recovery rate from before. And then a big one, calculated risk notable, now has damage of enemies hitting you is unlucky. So, problem with Saboteur has always been, not always, but like right now, it's kind of squishy. So now this helps. Scion gets a new ascendancy. Floodlines. The All Sting, instead of having the aura effect at 0 charges, now it's at minimum charges. Breach Lord has some interesting stuff. If Int is your highest attribute, all added damage is treated as lightning. And if it's Dex, all added damage is treated as cold. Pretty interesting. Could definitely do something cool there. Nameless just got a 5% life cost buff, which is 5% extra damage. Olroth. This is a big one, actually. This was slept on last league. And I think it will continue to be slept on, but Enhanced Starlight node grants 70% increased ward from equipped armor items. You can get a lot of ward, and this node also makes it so if the hit does not penetrate or does not deal more than 50% of the ward, it will not be removed, which kind of removes the problem with ward, where just any small hit's gonna remove your big ward. So that removes that, and now it's getting more ward, which is really nice. Then Ward Shatter is getting a huge damage buff, which literally nobody has played except for like 2 people, but if that's you, then, you know, it's good. I don't know, someone linked the clip of it doing Ubers earlier, so maybe it's good. Oshabi, 50% increase marks effect. Lycia gets some more Chaos Convert. Binos got more Poison Prolif, extra regen. Did he get more damage? I don't remember. Sinja's Sanguis got a little bit more damage and extra energy shield. I don't know if anybody will use this still, but yeah. Mrohi gets some AoE, this Quinn item. Lionized Glare, this one's actually really cool. So, attacks you use yourself repeat an additional time, and you have 50% more attack speed with it. Although it does lose the 20% attack speed actual modifier on it, but I think this is really cool. It's kind of like multi-strike for a bow. Could be really cool. I might check that out. Soul Tinker gives you 2 to 4 souls when you kill a rare enemy. Voltaxic Rift now treats enemy monster Chaos Res as inverted and no longer has hits with his weapon. Shock enemies as dealing 300% more damage. Pretty cool change there.
Hello everybody, I am definitely DS Lily and not an imposter. And welcome to the sponsor of this video, boot.dev, the best way to learn to code. The best way to learn to code is by doing what real coders do at a real job. Building real projects, just like I am the real DS Lily. However, boot.dev puts a twist on it to make it fun, just like a game. I love games. As a member, you'll get complete access. Personalized help from Boots the AI Bear, full solutions, infinite practice, game mechanics, instant verification. Exclusive channels in the Discord and certifications of completion, all 100% risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Rise and grind. It's time to see how you stack up against other learners on the leaderboard and defeat the crab boss while learning to code. If you are curious before you buy, there is a free demo of the interactive experiences in every course. But don't just take it from me, we can go to boot.dev and check reviews from each course. Let's check object-oriented programming in Python. Cooper Howard says it good. Yes, Eric here says the representations make concepts like inheritance and so on very easy to understand. Denkiel says Saul Goodman. Go to boot.dev and use my code DSLily to get 25% off your entire first year on the annual plan.
Now for the losers. Just starting off with, there has been a generic ES nerf. Energy Shield's still really good though. Energy Shield or Int now gives 1% max ES per 10 Int, previously 5, and then the Evasion Energy Shield Mastery. 1% evasion per 10 Int instead of 5 now. So, then they Dead of Scavenging, get a 70% less damage from 60. Earth Shatter is now at 329 damage from 393. And there's been a lot of general slam nerfs with like overexertion nerf. I think I forgot to put it here, but overexertion nerfed, auto exertion nerfed, overall slams were nerfed. Energy Blade, so it doesn't give 5% more max ES anymore, it gives some attack speed, and it also is getting nerfed with the energy shield nerfs. Penis Brand of Dissipation got a pretty hefty nerf. It only activates every 1 second now, previously 0.75, and it loses 10% damage with hits and ailments, and then it does gain 5% damage with hits on the quality though. Portal Dead, you might or might not have seen this one. It no longer has its casting interrupted by self-damage, so if you didn't know, actually look it up, it's kind of cool. There's a cast on Portal build that revolved around Portal being cast a million times by canceling the animation by dealing damage to yourself. Pretty cool, dead now. Raised Spectres, same thing on the other, like it's buffed for some Spectres, nerf for others, I don't know which. Viper Strike of the Mamba got hit pretty hard. 30% less attack speed if dual wielding, and each weapon hits separately if dual wielding, dealing 20% less damage. And then it also cannot inflict multiple poisons in the same hit. And then also, the low tolerance cluster notable, now its poisons you inflict on enemies, or non-poison enemies, deal 200% increased damage, previously 300. And this was your main scaling vector of this build. And then, if I'm reading this correctly, each weapon hits separately. So that should mean you're getting 2 hits. And then, if I'm understanding, and then 2 hits, right? Your first hit matters on this skill. I don't know if that's exactly how that works. I rarely dual build in this game because it's kind of shit. Except for this build, but you know. Classes. Only one real major loss here for classes, and that's Elementalist. It loses the Golem effect. Can't refresh Ignite on enemies you curse. This is bad for like the retaliation builds. And then Cluster Jewel notable for Golem effect, also nerfed by half. Pretty rough on Elementalist here. Items, Blood Notch, unique jewel. The value got cut in half. I think this kills cast when stunned, but I'm not 100% sure. Haven't played that build, but people were saying it is, so. Woe Spike, so you probably look at this and it's like a whatever ring, right? Like nobody even knows that this is probably random shit ring. Well, it had a cool interaction where you could just one-shot bosses with it, so that's what this nerf is for. Karn has a video on that if you'd like to see it. But I mean, it's dead now, but you know, if you want to see it. Runegrafter Refraction, no longer skills chain additional time, now projectiles chain. So this is mainly targeting exsanguinate mines, I think. And I heard, I'm not 100% sure about this, but it allegedly maybe messes up the interaction kinetic blast of clustering with tornadoes, so maybe a nerf there. Not sure though. Foulborn Barrett's Respite cannot explode anymore, and Bomber does not have Poison, Prolif, Red, Green, and Blue Dream all have a 25% value nerf. Foulborn Hand of Thought Motion with the accuracy stacking / instacker character got a slight nerf. It's still good, I think. 3% accuracy instead of 5. I think this is still really good. And then Foulborn Choir of the Storm got cut in half. And yeah, that's the biggest winners and losers. May have missed one or two. I'm gonna clean up this sheet a little bit. I'm using dark mode on my browser, so it looks dumber. It should look less dumb for you. Anyways, that's about it.
Go to boot.dev and use my code DSLily to get 25% off your entire first year on the annual plan.